guess I remember those days as a fog type of thing. You just, I don't know, I don't really understand how we got through it. I try to think about it, and it's, you know, I guess also that day, one of the hardest things was knowing we had to tell the kids and sitting them down and trying to explain to them what had happened is, it's just not something that you're prepared for.
We were what I thought back then your average family. I was constantly working. I worked for local government. Of course, our kids were small. Tony was 5 or 6, and our other daughter was also around 7. And we just tried to raise a family, work hard at that. And of course, my wife was also working. She was an insurance agent. And we were just moving along.
So we kind of followed the Catholic tradition, but we were not what you would say as involved. We would just go to weddings or get-togethers or Christmas, Easter.
I regret not being as involved, as connected. I think I would have been a much better person. I know I would have been.
Amanda was a very high-spirited person. Her smile was infectious. She was very high-spirited. She was just... We come back inside and start getting ready for bed, and of course, our son had gone to the island, and Amanda was with friends. So my husband starts calling her to check up on her to see where she was at and what time she was gonna come home, and she doesn't respond. So we figured it's New Year's, the messages are not going through. After a while, my husband starts realizing she's not responding, something's not right. He felt something was off. He knew it. So at this time, he starts making phone calls. They tell him somebody's on their way to go talk to you. And he knew, nobody's gonna come and talk to you to tell you that your child has been injured or has gotten hurt or is stuck somewhere. We knew. Sure enough, they show up and they give us the news that she had been in an accident and had passed away. And you could say life as we knew it changed that day.
After it happened, we were kind of lost, I guess. And I put a lot of blame on myself, but that kind of carried over towards the entire family, and we regressed a little bit more.
We never lost faith in God, but we kind of still separated ourselves, backed away a little.
And didn't know how to get back into it. It was a struggle.
I guess you could say we were both dealing with it, but as much as you can say we tried dealing with it together, we were kind of dealing with it our own separate ways, because everybody heals different.
We had a lot of people caring for us, a lot of the community.
Honestly, it's just there's only so much people can do, because it's we appreciate and understand people trying to help us, but it's hard when you think that really nobody knows what you're going through.
They showed a lot of love, but that wasn't enough for me. For any of us, I don't think.
My husband had created a support group for the police department, for the wives of the police officers, to kind of, if there's ever some type of distress or something that were to happen to a police officer, that the wives would try to come together and do something for the family of that particular employee. And so I met Amy there, and we kind of started talking, and we became good friends from there. And And that's when she told me that, she would attend BT, and that, they love going there, and that, she would constantly invite us to go. So shortly after that, she finds out that she's pregnant, and she tells me, I'm pregnant, and, if it's okay with you, I would like for you guys to, be a part of the baby's life as godparents. And I said, sure. As soon as she finds out that it's a girl, she's like, you know what, now that I know that it's a girl, it's definitely a blessing, and I'm going to name her after your daughter that passed away, which is Amanda. And she said, but, we want to do the baby dedication, at BT. And of course I was a little nervous, because I was like, I've never known any other church other than the one the one that we would attend. I said, so then the other hard thing was, okay, now I'm gonna tell my husband.
I was real apprehensive about going back to church. I'd never been to a Baptist church ever.
I remember going and just walking in, everything was just so different. So I don't know, it's like you walk in and it's like you have this heaviness on you. And I remember feeling walking in there, and you feel like you lose a few layers of burden in your life. And it felt very refreshing for a change.
That's when things changed. We were invited to go do a baby dedication, and I thought that was it. Just go do that and love the baby and pretty much move on and forget about it. But we were there and had my eyes closed, and I thought somebody was hugging me. When somebody comes from behind you and they put their hands over you, wrap it around you, I felt like weakness. I felt like it crumbled me.
Walking out of there, it was like, wow, I don't know what happened in there, but something happened. It's hard to pinpoint what was said or what happened, but it just felt very different.
What even made that even more impressive is that our youngest son, Tony, must have been 5 or 6, and after we left church, he wanted to know when we're going to go back. And after that, all the kids, are we going to go back at 9 or at 11?
Are we going next Sunday? What time are we going? So it was always a question of, is it 9 or 11? It wasn't a question of, are we going? But it was always, is it 9 or the 11 o'clock, so we know. So it definitely caused a big impact in all of our lives. Everybody was feeling something from going to BT.
And so it became a routine, and every time we would go, we would listen, and we were there worshiping, and it gave us enough juice to get back to next Sunday. So we're living by every Sunday. We received energy, enthusiasm, the will to continue to live, based on every Sunday. Every weekend it just was getting a little easier and better. So that's how our lives changed.
I find myself sitting at the service and thinking, how I got there, what it took. It took a lot. It took somebody to be brave enough to say, hey, join me to church. And I definitely would not have taken the step myself.
And if it wouldn't have been for Amy and Art Tijerina inviting us to BT, I don't think we'd be in the path that I feel that we're traveling. That's a better path than I ever was before. Even when I thought I was in my most highest moments in life, I know that this is the better route, and it wouldn't have been for them, it wouldn't have been where we're at.
And it took having a friend like Amy to grab me pretty much by the hand and take me, and to know what it costs, the impact that it's caused on my life, not only my life, but my family's life. I see my son, Tony, serving, and I'm thinking, wow. It's such an amazing feeling to know that out of the most painful part of our life, this came out of it. You're always gonna find 10 reasons not to before you find one reason to. All you have to do is step into that church, and the BT family does the rest pretty much. but it just takes you taking that step and sitting in that chair one Sunday, and you will see the difference. I mean, I hope you can see the difference that it has done for us.
As hard as it was to lose our daughter, I strongly believe, my personal belief, that, and this is kind of selfish to think, but that my daughter was born to save me and my entire family, or our entire family. Because if it wouldn't have happened, I don't know if we'd be attending BT, and I don't know if Tony would be so involved with worship, and I don't know where we would be at, and that's just a big unknown. But I strongly believe that she's with Jesus, she's with God, and that we're all going to be there. But her time was cut a little short so that our entire family could be here just a little longer.